What if losing 30 pounds didn't mean giving up on client dinners, skipping time with your kids, or trying to squeeze in 2-hour gym sessions after a 10-hour workday? Most busy people think fat loss requires sacrificing everything else in life, but after coaching hundreds of busy parents, business owners, and professionals, I've seen the opposite. When you focus on just a few key steps, the weight comes off without wrecking your schedule. And no, you don't need Ozempic to get you there. So in this video, I'll show you the exact 5 things I would do to drop 30 pounds this year, even if your calendar already feels impossible to fit it in. Okay, so let's start with the obvious one that nearly everyone gets wrong. And it's the reason why most people end up stuck in the yo-yo dieting cycle. I'm talking about the infamous calorie deficit. Every coach preaches it, and yes, on paper, it's the simplest way to lose weight. It's the only way to lose weight. But here's the truth. When you've been up half the night with your kids, your boss is throwing deadlines at you, and you're just trying to hold everything together, controlling your food is usually the first to go. That's why you need a formula that's simple, clear, and works even when life's chaotic. And here it is. Number 1, take your body weight, times it by 12. That will equal your daily calories. And if you want results faster, times it by 11. Then aim for about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So let's say you weigh 200 pounds. That's 2,400 calories per day with around 200 grams of protein. And here's the key, hit your protein target first in the day. And here's what happens. The cravings drop, your sleep improves, and your energy levels stop tanking. Now I know that sounds like a lot of math, or is it maths? I'll let you decide. But if you want to make it dead simple, here's the hack. Just make sure there's a protein food on your plate first at every meal. That one habit alone will keep you on track. So food sorted, but what about alcohol? Can you still drink and lose weight? Technically, yes, you can drink alcohol and lose weight, but let's be honest. Most of us turn into idiots after a few drinks. I'm the worst for it. You start the night feeling fine, then suddenly you wake up with a splitting headache and a half-eaten kebab in your chest, regretting every decision and every conversation. Bro, love you bro, miss you bro. And the next day, no one's disciplined after a big night. You're probably smashing a bacon and egg McMuffin, or 3, followed by anything else in sight. Here's the real problem. It's not just the calories and the alcohol. Science is that your body prioritizes metabolizing alcohol first, which temporarily pauses fat burning. Roughly speaking, 1 standard drink can stall fat metabolism for about an hour. So 8 drinks could mean your body isn't burning calories efficiently for up to 8 hours afterwards. But honestly, that's not the biggest issue. The real killer is lowered inhibitions and wrecked willpower, which leads to overeating, poor sleep, and another 2 to 3 days of sluggishness. That's what truly slows down fat loss. So, unless you've got the discipline of David Goggins, stay hard! You're better off skipping alcohol during the fat loss phase. Once you hit your goal weight though, that's when you can bring alcohol back in as an occasional drink, or 7. So we've covered food and alcohol, but what about training? What training do I need to do if I'm busy and want to drop weight? The best place to start is strength training for fat loss. Now that doesn't mean you need to be hitting the gym 5 days a week, crushing heavy weights like your Arnold Schwarzenegger. It really does come down to 2 things though. How much time you have and what type of training you actually enjoy. Calisthenics is great, powerlifting is awesome, and if you're a bit crazy and a bit sadistic, CrossFit can work too. But here's a simple rule. If you can train 3 times per week and hit each major muscle group for about 5 to 6 working sets per week, you'll build muscle and burn fat just fine. The key is training close to failure, not just sitting around doing endless curls. My favorite approach is push, pull, legs, a hinge pattern, which is like a deadlift or an RDL, across session. Don't worry about isolating arms. They'll grow naturally from all the pushing and pulling. So here's what it could look like. Monday's dumbbell bench into push-ups, squats into deficit split squats, pull-ups into bent over rows, RDLs into hip thrusts. Wednesday, do opposite focus. So like a chest with a back, a quad with a hamstring. Here's an example. Barbell bench into dumbbell rows. Walking lunges into single leg RDLs. Deadlifts into Australian pull-ups. Friday is your complex day, if you really want to push it. A complex is like doing a barbell exercises and doing multiple exercises in the one go. Doing something like 5 sets of 5 reps, a deadlift, front squat, push press into a back squat. That's 1 rep, do 5 of them, and then 5 sets. That's all you need, trust me. This way you're getting stronger, building muscle, and maximizing fat loss, all in just 3 sessions per week, and it gives you plenty of variety as well. So we've got strength training covered, but what cardio do you do if you want to lose weight with a busy schedule? If you're busy, pounding the pavement for endless kilometers isn't going to win you any popularity contests with your spouse or your calendar. The good news is you don't need to, unless you like to. When fat loss is the goal, walking is the real cheat code. If you're a beginner or out of shape, we always say hitting 8 to 10,000 steps per day, keep your metabolism ticking and help burn fat steadily. And when you build a little bit of fitness, then start doing intervals like 3 minutes fast, 3 minutes slow. This is even more beneficial than the amount of steps that you're doing, because ultimately you're going to get used to the steps and you're going to get used to the intensity. Your body will continuously adapt, so you need to keep shaking it up a bit. Here's the best part, you don't need to do them all at once. For most people, 10,000 steps is about an hour to an hour and a half of walking. but broken into chunks, it's much easier to do. Here's what it can look like in a busy day. Morning school run, drop off your kids and walk 10 minutes before heading into the office. At work, take a 10-minute walk after lunch instead of scrolling on your phone. I know you're scrolling on your phone. In the afternoon, park further away from your office or grocery store and sneak in a few extra 100 steps. Evening, do a 10-minute stroll while making a phone call or a short walk with your partner after dinner. Good for digestion, great for fat loss. Suddenly you've banked 8 to 10,000 steps without even setting aside a full hour. You didn't do cardio, you just built activity into your day. And that's why walking is the most underrated fat loss tool for busy people. It doesn't drain your energy, doesn't need fancy equipment, and it actually fits your life instead of taking time away from it. Okay, so the last one, and honestly the most important when it comes to losing weight, is sleep. Poor sleep ramps up hunger, wrecks your food choices, and sets off a domino effect that makes everything harder. And I get it. If you've got kids keeping up at night, or you're burning the midnight oil chasing deadlines, sleep is usually one of the first things to go with food. In some circles, the lack of sleep is even worn like a badge of honour. But think about it. What's really more important? Staying up until all hours and then dragging yourself through the next 2 to 3 days? Or pulling back on a few tasks to actually recover? If you've got young kids and a proper night's sleep is rare, even grabbing a quick nap the next day, at lunch or at a break, wherever you can, makes the world of difference. All else fails, coffee and creatine will help. And don't worry, your lack of sleepless nights won't last forever. Just get it in where you can. Okay, so let's recap the 5 things to help you lose 30 pounds this year. Number 1, calories and protein. Set your calories around body weight times 12 and hit 1 gram of protein per pound to keep cravings low and energy steady. Number 2 is your alcohol. Skip drinking during your fat loss phase because it wrecks sleep, willpower, and stores your progress. Number 3 is strength training. Train 3 times per week, focus on big lifts, and push close to failure to build muscle while losing fat. Number 4 is cardio. Aim for around 8 to 10,000 steps a day and add intervals when you get fitter. This is the easiest fat loss burning tool for busy people. Number 5 is sleep. Prioritize quality sleep or naps during the day if nights are rough, because poor sleep makes fat loss 10 times harder. So that's the step-by-step guide I'd use to drop 30 pounds without wrecking your schedule. But this does bring up a couple of pretty big questions. Firstly, what if you want to speed things up even more? Secondly, how do you do it without wrecking your energy or burning out? Thirdly, how do you know if you're pushing too far? That's what I'm going to cover in my next video. How to lose 50% fat so fast it feels illegal. I'll show you exactly how to make rapid fat loss safe, sustainable, and shockingly effective.